Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are back with another seminar here at Sessions Live. I'm Nas, and today I have a special guest with us, my man Luke4pres. But Luke has other names. He goes by other names, aka Fudge. But we'll get into that a little bit later on down the line. He has an amazing, really, really cool past that I think is really amazing. I've seen an episode, so I thought you were hilarious. But we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that a little bit later. So, Luke, welcome to Sessions. We are super excited to have you. Just tell us about who you are, where you're from, and tell us who you are now.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm from Santa Monica, California, born and raised. And as you alluded to, in a very, very distant past, I had a pretty successful career as a child actor. And the show Fudge, which you referred to just now, was basically a series of books by Judy Blume that was turned into a TV show on ABC. And at the tender age of 4, I was cast in that starring role on that TV show. It's kind of totally out of the blue. And yeah, for the next like three and a half years, I worked pretty steadily in show business. And then like eventually, it was never something I was passionate about. So eventually I just sort of lost interest. And luckily I had very supportive parents who didn't force the issue for the most part, I would say. Mm-hmm. And kind of let me do my own thing. I enrolled in public school, became a normal kid,
Nice.
And eventually found a huge love of rap music. And that didn't really manifest itself into anything major in terms of like music production until, many, many years later. But yeah, I've been, since about 2018, I've been taking music production seriously as a career after many years of, kind of kicking the idea around in my head.
Yeah.
And yeah, here we are now doing it.
What was that? What was that pivot? Like, what was that pivot to be like, you know what? I'm doing it full-fledged now. Was it a specific rapper that made you be like, all right, nah, that beat that he just rapped on was trash. I can make better. I need to start.
No, it's funny. It's kind of the opposite. I was so inspired by certain producers' beats that I just wanted to do what they were doing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, I've always, I love lyrical rap, of course, but I've always kind of mainly gravitated towards the instrumentals for whatever reason. That's just what's always caught my ear first. Okay. So that's what I put a big emphasis on, just from like a fan standpoint.
Right.
And basically, like, I've always been a creative person. I've always known that somehow my creativity is going to manifest itself in a way that I'm going to be able to just kind of take full force. And I've tried a few different things over the course of my life, but finally figured out that music production was really the one that I could, give my all to, and that I was the most passionate about. And it really started to manifest itself seriously when I was working this office job. It was a sales job down in Orange County. Yeah. That required a crazy commute because I was still living in Santa Monica at the time. And it was just like a depressing existence, to be honest, like just, cooped up in an office. I had to like cold call and all this stuff. Yeah. But luckily I had a buddy who also worked at the company who also lived in Santa Monica. So we would carpool and just, bump our favorite music on the way there. And just those like hour-long commutes of just, listening to our favorite stuff at the time, it was Future. This was like circa 2015, 2016.
Oh yeah,
so
yeah,
like
yeah.
PS2 era, like 56 Nights era Future. Like,
oh yeah.
That's like, oh my God. Like to this day, that's like that's my favorite era of Future, I would say. Nice. I just like, I don't know. I just loved it so much. I just like, I need to try this. I need to be a part of this in some way. And it seemed like such a difficult thing to attempt. I was very intimidated by the software, like FL Studio or Logic or whatever. Like, it just seemed so overwhelming to learn how to do that. And so it took a few more years, even after that point, for me to really dive in. So it was kind of a gradual progression. There wasn't like a single moment where I was like, all right, screw this. I'm going for it. It just sort of slowly built to the point where I was like, all right, I don't want to do anything else with my time.
I love that. I love that. So, you know, you got to tell me, right? Who are your top 5 rappers? And since you're a producer, who are also your top 5 producers?
Oof. Oh my God. Putting me on the spot here.
Got to, bro. I got to.
Well, in terms of rappers, Jay-Z is always number one. Like, I admire him so much, not only as a lyricist and a rapper, but just as a mogul, a business person, an entrepreneur. And as we'll probably talk to eventually, like, I'm well aware of how necessary it is for me to view myself as an entrepreneur and a business person, you know, while trying to build my career as a music producer. And that's something that I think he just sort of mastered perfectly, and just used his music platform to just expand into, you know, this icon that he is today in the business world. Right. So Jay-Z number one for all those reasons. And, you know, but in addition to that, his music is phenomenal, of course. Drake's probably number two, just that consistency, like over the years since what, 2008, so Far Gone came out, right? And he like hasn't let up at all. He's like the LeBron James of rap, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know, and just like the versatility, singing, rapping, you know, he doesn't get credit for songwriting as much, but he writes hits for other people as well. Like,
all the time.
Don't sleep on that, you know? So like him for sure. Got to put 50 Cent in there. Just that was like, that was like, you know, what made me fall in love with rap to begin with, like the whole G Unit era, like Beg for Mercy, like to this day is one of my favorite albums, of course. So yeah, 50 Cent probably all time. Got to put Lil Wayne in there. The period after that, like 2006 to 2009 ish. And that was like all I listened to.
Yeah.
And he's still killing it to a degree now. I would say he's
low key, but he's still, whenever he hops on something, he still murders it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so that's 3. Damn. Got to put Eminem in there.
4 actually.
Is that 4?
You got 4.
Drake.
You got 4.
Jay-Z, 50 Cent. Who else did I say? I thought it was 3.
Drake, Jay-Z, 50 Cent, Wayne.
Oh, Wayne. Oh, right. Obviously, Jesus. And then probably Eminem, just from like a sheer lyrical standpoint. Like he's got to be up there for me. So that's probably like all time. Honorable mention is Future.
Yes.
He's my that's just, for whatever reason, it sounds like so weird to say, but that's just my comfort zone. Like I love Future to like relax, even though it's like turn up music for the most part. Like right. That's just, I don't know.
Bro. Listen. I totally understand how you feel, because whenever, like, you know, I'm, you know, driving or in a car with friends or just at a club and I hear this. Hold on.
Put the shot at him and I can go to crazy and say my whole hood got investigation.
I go crazy. Yeah. Like I go crazy. It's Future has that effect. He has that effect. It's like his voice, the beats that he's choosing with Metro Boomin.
Yes.
It's like, it's crazy. Like, and so since we mentioned Metro Boomin, we got to go into the top 5 producers now. So who are your top 5 producers you got?
Yeah. You know, it's funny. I made a TikTok on this exact thing, like listing my top 5 favorite producers recently. And I feel like my list has already changed. It's like constantly changing. So even since then, I was probably like a month ago or 2 months ago, it's probably already changed. You got to put Metro Boomin in there. These aren't in any order necessarily, but I mean, I think, you know, as you alluded to, like, especially during that era that I mentioned before, like 2015, 16, the work he did on the Drake Future collaboration album, What a Time to Be Alive. Like that, you know, if you want to point to something that pushed me over the edge in terms of like actually like wanting to try to do this, that's, you know, you look no further.
That album, What a Time
that
to Be
album
Alive,
and his production specifically, just, he's a huge inspiration for me. Kanye, of course, I have to put in there.
Of course.
Just, you know, I mean, iconic sampler and just musical genius. That documentary on Netflix, have you seen that?
Yes, I have. Of course, I did. It's amazing.
Dude, that was so, I got to watch it again, honestly. That was so fire. Like,
yeah, bro, you got to get that device, the device that he has.
The stem player.
Yeah, you got to get that.
You have it?
No, you have to get it. You're the producer.
Oh, okay. I thought you were speaking from experience.
Actually, one of my friends, Isaiah, he has it, and he's come over the crib and he's shown it to me. And it's pretty interesting. It's definitely a pretty interesting piece, like device, and I feel like it's really great for beginners. Actually, this might sound crazy, but I think it's really awesome for if you're a beginner who's never really, touched any type of producing equipment or tools or anything. That little device is like a really good way to kind of like get started, or to kind of like build your ear up to start to listen for different sounds and separating the vocals and all of that. Like, I think it's definitely really good for a lot of people who are not producers and they want to start getting into producing. That product is a great product to get, like, because like I was like fascinated. I was just like, oh my God, I just wanted to keep going. You know what I mean? Wow. So if you don't have it, get it. You have to get it. It's really awesome.
I'll definitely check that out. It seems so cool. It seems like it came off a flying saucer or something. It looks
right.
Like
yeah. It's super small
cool
in your hand. Like it's crazy, dude. It's super crazy. You got to get that. But I know you. No, hold on. So we got Kanye, Metro Boomin.
I think that's all I've said so far.
Yeah. What's the other three you got?
Okay, so Timbaland, have to put him in there.
Of course.
100%. Some of the most like interesting drum sound, like his sound selection is like so incredible, and just like the drum patterns that he uses, and just like the ethnic sounding, like sort of like Arabian vibes.
Yeah.
Now that I'm mentioning this, I don't think I've ever even realized this, but I feel like that has influenced my sound today more than I've even realized until now, which is kind of crazy. But
that's fire. He's exclusive, ladies and gentlemen. He just realized where a lot of his influence came from.
No, that's crazy. It's like cathartic, That's
right.
But so Timbaland for sure. Pharrell, have to say Pharrell.
My cousin. We share the last name Williams. He's not really my cousin.
I was gonna say that's crazy.
I wish, but yes, Pharrell, of course.
Yeah, just again, like super unique style, yet super recognizable. He doesn't have a producer tag, but it's that 4-count intro on every single.
Oh yeah, it's a Pharrell joint.
You know what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
And then like to throw kind of a wild card in the mix, somebody that's come from the world that I'm trying to ascend through at this time is Cody, who started as a type beat producer on YouTube.
Okay.
Which is exactly what I'm doing.
Right.
And he, ascended the ranks in that realm, became a very successful online, quote unquote, online producer. I don't even really like that distinction between, online producers and industry producers, or whatever, but it is what it is. It's kind of a thing that's in the vernacular. But he ascended the ranks there, got signed to Internet Money, which is, Taz Taylor and Nick Mira's label. And, now he's on a ton of different platinum songs. He's produced for The Weeknd. He's produced for Future,
that's
all this stuff. So just like, first of all, I always thought his beats were just incredible. And I've really kind of tried to mirror some of his techniques that he shared. He has a YouTube channel for producers as well, where he does tutorials and whatnot.
Nice.
So from like a real practical standpoint, in terms of like impacting my career so far, I have to include him in this list. And then just in terms of the trajectory of his career, that's sort of what I'm, hoping to, I'm hoping to do something similar ultimately.
I feel that.
You know what I'm saying?
That's nice. That's respect, man. Hell of a list. Hell of a top 5 rappers and producers, dude. Like, I don't think anybody would be mad at that. I'm not mad at that. Like,
appreciate it. Yeah,
I would say
I was nervous there. I was on the spot.
No, I can't.
Like, oh my God.
I can't. I think the only thing I'm like, damn, he left my guy out. My favorite rapper of all time is actually Kendrick Lamar. That is my favorite rapper of all time, to the point where I have like Good Kid, Mad City van like tattooed on me, and like a butterfly To Pimp a Butterfly on me as well. And of course, I've been playing his latest album back to back all day long, every day. It's so good. Have you heard it yet?
Yeah. I
So
was
good.
listening to it earlier this morning at the gym, actually.
What is your favorite song so far?
I can't remember the title, but
It's when him and the girl are going back and forth and going crazy.
I like that one a lot. And
yeah,
that one's fantastic. But the one where I'm trying to make this as PG as possible. The one where he describes the first time he had intimate relations with white women. You know what I'm talking about? I thought that was phenomenal.
Oh my goodness. I know exactly which song you're talking about. He was also talking about how he cheated on his fiance in that song and everything. No, he
brought up a lot of stuff. He brought up like cancel culture in there. You can't,
dude. Yeah, bro. He was like, what did he say? He's like, what the hell is cancel culture? Say what I want about you, like I'm Oprah. And I was like, yo, this dude is just like crazy. Even the song where he's like, my auntie is a man now. Like, even
that's so crazy.
That song right there, he touched on so many things, even going as far as saying, you know, the F word, not the UCK one, but the other word, and saying like, all right, cool, let's say it together, but only if you let a white girl say it.
Right.
And it's like, wow. So many people would have been so afraid to like touch on those topics, and it's super, super crazy. But speaking on touching on topics that are just unusual, I noticed that you talk about a lot of things, like, you know, when it comes to not just producing and, you know, but also the business part, like how you talked about earlier, and how that is the trajectory that you want to go down, and that is what you want to leave. The impression that you leave on other producers is, wow, this guy really just taught me how to make a business out of this, right? So like you talk about so many things, talk about making money through NFTs, talk about, you know, using specific, programs to make money for your beats, and even advice to where it's low, like you're like, if you're going to give away free beats, make sure you at least put it on your own website. Like like to that point. So what would you say is like, has been like your favorite topic to talk about when it comes to producers finding financial stability through their creativity?
Yeah, that's a great question. And thank you for checking out my content. It's clear.
Of course.
Did a thorough deep dive there. I mean, for me, I think what comes most naturally to me, and what I feel I have the strongest knowledge in, is just from like a digital marketing standpoint. Mm-hmm. And that comes from my previous work experience as both like a salesperson, where I was selling website and SEO packages to small business owners. So I got to learn, you know, that whole side of things, plus learn from actual business owners who I was talking to every single day. Right. And then I had, you know, other marketing gigs here and there since then. But then also I'm living it now, because I have to figure this stuff out for myself. Right. Because at a certain point I quit all, you know, my office jobs, my 9-to-5s, and just dove in like way before I was making anything remotely close to a full-time living off my music. So it became this kind of like sink or swim situation where, okay, like I have to simultaneously climb the mountain of being a great producer, which I'm still trying to achieve, obviously. Right. And like honing my craft as a producer, but then also this other mountain simultaneously. Okay, how do I build a business out of this? How does this work? Right. And the whole thought process behind the content, I'm like a huge Gary Vee disciple. Like I
love Gary Vee.
I love that guy, dude.
I love him. Yeah.
And he always talks about like, document your journey, right? Don't create. Don't worry about creating stuff. Just document your journey, right? And so that was basically what I was doing. It just essentially, you know, hopefully saving people time and effort and money and steps that I had to do myself, hopefully showing them some shortcuts, like, okay, these are the best marketing strategies that have worked for me. Not to say that's going to work for everybody, but this is what's worked for me. This is what hasn't worked. You know, I try to be very transparent with like all the L's that I take. Also, like I've wasted so much money on certain types of Facebook ads and YouTube ads. And I, you know, I have videos on all this stuff. So, you know, I think that's the most enjoyable and hopefully what provides people with the most value. I still look at all of the content stuff as secondary to my music. And I'm not after like being an influencer or, I'm not selling a course to anybody. I have no plans of that, even though people have asked me, which is kind of funny, but, I'm just kind of doing that as an aside to trying to, make progress on the music side. And it's difficult. Like you said, I do kind of talk about a lot of different things. I have a lot of different balls in the air that I'm juggling. And sometimes it's difficult for me. And this is something I'm actively working on, trying to prioritize my time and trying to have like a roadmap like that I can follow. And so that's kind of where my head has been at. I know that's like a really long-winded answer, but
No, that was perfect actually, because it kind of like goes into, I feel like, for, as you say, you're not just teaching, but you're also living it. So I think, and that's the best, I feel like that's the best type of artist, right? Who's someone who is actually invested into also sharing the gems as well, not just keeping them all to themselves. And the thing is like, people will start to look at you as not just another producer who makes fire beats, right? But also somebody who they can look at as a mentor, someone who they can learn from, someone who they can feel like, oh, you know what? I'm stuck here. Let me either go to Luke's YouTube, or maybe I can even ask him a question and find out, and, and just maybe start a conversation about it, or maybe that question may encourage you to make a video about that content, right? So the thing is like, and it's crazy because you just did it naturally, right? Some people feel like they have like this this need where they have to do something like this, when the truth is, you don't have to do this. You don't have to share these gems. You don't have to share these techniques. You don't have to share rules and regulations on how to sell your stuff on as an NFT. You know what I mean? You don't have to do these things. You can literally learn all this on your own and then just literally become a powerhouse. But the thing is, the fact that you kind of became an open book and you're doing it so from a genuine perspective, and the fact that you're not trying to sell anything to anyone, I think what that does is, bro, you're like I'm not sure how religious you are, but you're like an angel, a God-sent angel when it comes to the music game, because it's just like, there's too many people who try to monetize the wrong way, right? Where it's like, why are you making it difficult when you put a price on something? Like you said, a course, right? If you created a course and you put a price on that, do you know what you just did? You just literally closed the door for so many people, for so many other creatives, right? So I think you do a really great job at just kind of opening the door and teaching as you learn. That is something that me personally, I have the utmost respect for you when it comes to that. And I think that's really, really awesome. But what is like that first piece of advice that you would give that brand new producer, right? So imagine that advice that you wish you had when you first started, because sometimes I've noticed, like I have about 10 years experience in producing festivals and concerts and things like that. So I have friends who are coming up in the game and they'll call me and they'll ask me a question. And it's something that I'm teaching them about right now in this moment that it probably took me about 2 years to learn, right? So what is that piece of advice that you wish that you had, that you probably took you some time to learn, but now you can actually go ahead and give it to that brand new producer who is like, I'm quitting my full-time job and I'm going full blown into this? What is that advice like, Luke?
Don't do that. Don't do what I did. No, I'm kidding. I mean, well, I don't recommend that. That I was in a very fortunate position where I had some money saved from a previous job, but that's not advisable until your side hustle income matches or somewhat matches your 9 to 5. That would be my little thought on that. But I mean, first of all, thank you for the kind words about my content and everything. That means a lot. Like, seriously, that's awesome. Man. That makes me feel like motivated to keep doing it,
Yes.
In terms of advice, I think it's all the cliche stuff, right? It's like consistency. Like not only in terms of posting online and building like a brand there, but working on your craft, honing your craft, actively attempting to get better and, try different techniques from like an actual production standpoint on a daily basis, or as often as you can possibly do it. And then also just know that this is a marathon and not a sprint. I think so many people are so impatient in terms of trying to monetize their beats, trying to connect with artists, connect with other producers, and just get on. You know what I mean?
Right.
We see so many people that seemingly come out of thin air and they're, on the Billboard charts, right? You don't necessarily see all the work and all the years that they may have put in to get to that point. That's not always the case. Some people really do just pop right away and, God bless them. That's not my experience, right? I'm still like in the trenches, dude. Even after, all the years that I've been putting in so far. So I would definitely tell people that are just starting out to keep that in mind. Like, this is a years and years and years long game. And I still potentially have many years ahead of me until I get to where I want to be. And that's just the mode that you have to go into this with, like the thought process that you have to be successful, because otherwise you're gonna, try for a few months and get frustrated and then just quit or not do it as consistent. It's just every day. I use this analogy all the time. I think I already did in this interview, but it's like climbing a mountain, and just don't worry about getting to the top. Just worry about moving your hand up 6 inches every day.
Exactly right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the best that I could say, because it's something I grappled with early on too. Like, and I still do to a degree. It's just, you want so much right away, right? But it's just it doesn't work that way 99.9% of the time.
Exactly. You guys heard it here first. You heard what he said. Basically, in so many words, do the work.
Yes.
And be consistent. Yes, it's a cliche, but that's the rest. That's what it's about. Do the work, and what did Kobe say? Be better. Do better.
Talk about Kobe. I don't know if you can see it, but
that's fire. Now I respect that. Me being a Philly man myself. Kobe is a Philly boy too, so you already know I definitely respect that. I love that, Luke. Well, my man, listen, I'm not going to keep you for too much longer. I know you got some more heat to make, but really quick, if you can just drop down, just let us know really fast what you got coming next and where we can find you.
Yeah, no doubt. Dropping a new video on how to market your beats as NFTs. I dropped a video on how to, make them NFTs in the first place. Coming soon is a video on how to market them specifically as NFTs. I've been going crazy on TikTok lately. Just been posting like crazy. Almost got 40,000 followers on there. So that's nuts.
Fire.
I don't know where the hell that came from. Check me out on there at luke4pres. luke4presbeats.com. Any artist listening that needs beats, tap in. I got damn near 500 beats on there. Do custom beats as well. Yeah, man, just that's it. Just expect a lot more content from me going forward, a lot more beats, and hopefully some major placements and things like that in the works as well.
Fire. And also, and you've heard it here first, Luke has some exclusive content coming to Sessions Live as well. I'm going to put you on the spot. I'm going to put it out there. So look out for some for Luke's page that he should be, we'll be creating really soon. We're posting this interview on here, but we'll also have, hopefully Luke will be posting some of that content that we love to see on YouTube and TikTok as well. But hopefully we'll start to see it on Sessions too. But Luke, thank you so much for joining me today. It's really, really been a pleasure, my man. It's really been amazing to hear about your story, learning about Fudge. You know what I mean? What would you say, actually, really quick before we go, what would you say is your favorite episode of Fudge that you would tell people to go and watch right now?
Oh my God, that's so funny. Well, if you've ever seen my YouTube or TikTok profile picture, nobody understands what it is, rightfully so, because it's from like 1994. But that is actually a picture of me in an episode of Fudge with like a crown on a throne. And it was from a dream sequence where I think like they switched my test scores at school around or something. So for like a few days, they thought I was a genius. And so that was
wow.
a dream sequence of my older brother who was like panicking, like, oh my God, why is my little brother so much smarter than me? Or something.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And they got me all like on this throne, like dressed up like a king. I just thought it was like a super hard picture when I saw it. So
that's like, amazing.
That'll be my profile picture. I don't remember the name of the episode, but.
Oh, man. Well, I guess we got to find it. We got to search for it. If you guys can find it, please post it here in a comment or something, and we'll make sure we all go look at it. But Luke, then once again, thank you so much for joining us here at Sessions. And guys, thank you for watching this as well. Please, go check out Luke. Go check out his beats. Go rap on them. They're fire. I actually wrote a couple bars myself on one of them that I heard. It was fire. So please go do that. I'm Nas. That's my man, Luke. This is Sessions Live. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll see you soon. Peace.